there wasn't really a 2025 song of the summer.
I was thinking about that. There wasn't really a big song of the summer.
There were so many like eulogies for the song of the summer in 2025 because there wasn't kind of that, you know, that espresso or that Despacito, like the song that kind of felt like it was everywhere. But, you know, I think when people think about 2025, they think, oh, you know, with streaming, with fragmentation, and with kind of the political environment and the climate, like there were all these different things that were happening that meant that a cultural consensus kind of didn't emerge the same way that it had in previous years.
Can we just look at a couple of the songs that have been songs of the summer and then get your thoughts on them? So the first one that I picked out was a bar song by Shabuzi.
My baby born a Birkin. She's been telling me all night long.
Yeah, that song was the song of the summer, and it was also the song of the fall and the winter. And like that song was on the charts for so long. And I think still, if you look at like a couple of months ago, like I looked at the Shazam songs that were most Shazammed, and it was still up there. Right. So that song kind of blasted through many, many different layers of culture and has like a lot of staying power. One of the things I love about that song is that it's based on that Jaquan Tipsy song.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, which not everybody knows, right? But I think that's one of the things that made that song sort of pop for people, because if you were young, you're like, no, this is just like, you know, this is just a really great song. If you're older, you're like, wait a second, I remember that chorus, right? So I think it's kind of cut through demographics for that reason. And obviously that song is like a country song, but it's also like kind of a rap song, right? So it kind of bridges demographics in that way too. And I just think, you know, it's brilliant for that reason.
Despacito by Daddy Yankee.
Despacito, quiero respirar tu cuello despacito.
So that song is interesting because it was released in January and then they added Justin Bieber to it. I want to say in like April of that year. That was 2017, right? And so that song, like Justin Bieber changed that song for a lot of people, I think, and brought in kind of all of that fandom to the song. And so as a phenomenon, it just like lit it on fire. And I can remember that summer and like you could not escape Despacito. It was also like kind of sexy, a little bit dirty in that sense, right? So I think that there was a little bit of a very small amount of like a pearl clutching response to it, especially the video, if you remember, like it was a very sensual video. So I think that really kind of helped, you know, push that one along for sure.
Sticking with a little bit of the controversy, for lack of a better phrase, Blurred Lines by Robin Thicke.
Okay, now he was close, tried to domesticate you.
That's another one that is like, I remember that song, but was that really the song of the summer?
That song, I mean, again, another inescapable song, another very sexy video. And that had a lot to do with why that song kind of, I mean, that video was almost like X-rated for people, you know? And that song, you know, it's got the Marvin Gaye hook in it, and it's just like, it is definitely a jam, but it's also like one of those songs that's aged really badly. And it's aged badly not just because of the copyright controversy I mentioned, the Marvin Gaye thing, but obviously the content of that song in the wake of the Me Too movement and this idea that you're supposed to sort of push a sexual encounter with somebody that maybe isn't sending you clear signals. That, you know, that goes to the same place that like Louis C.K. went, you know, like it's kind of been retired among like the way that people are comfortable talking about sex and sexual relations and those kind of things. So, for me, like 2013 was about, Get Lucky, which is also, you know, kind of a song about, you know, relations. But it's a much happier, much kind of like more benign approach to those same themes. And it's just like, that is a dance song, you know, so I would say that the song of 2013 was Get Lucky.
Go back in time a little bit. Call Me Maybe, Carly Rae Jepsen.
So call me maybe, it's hard to look right.
That was another one that I remember, if I was going to like tier list summer songs, that one to me was really big too.
that is a song that is an earworm, right? So the thing about that song is once you get it in your head, you cannot get it out of your head. And anybody who's listening to this, if you know Call Me Maybe, if you haven't listened to it in a while, you probably can call it to mind, right? It's got that infectious chorus. It's got that kind of looping structure. It's very cute. It's very, sweet and benign. And yeah, it's just like, again, totally inescapable.
Is there anything more to that from a musical standpoint? Like, okay, they're using 3/4 time, or I don't know enough about music to even ask you this question correctly, but is there more to that layer, I guess?
They have really, really strong hooks, really good choruses, really easy to learn. You can learn the chorus the first time you listen to the song. Having that and being in a major key is kind of like, and being in a sort of in a mid-range, which makes it easy to sing and easy for, people have different ranges in their voices, but the voice that like a teenage girl or like, like the
Right.
voice that you can sing, that's important as well, right? To have something that's really singable for a lot of people, that's not a stretch, that's not doing a bunch of vocal gymnastics. It's just, if you think about it, like espresso has like 5 notes. Maybe 4 notes, right? I'd have to look at the music to know, but it doesn't have very many. It's not a complicated song.